Have you talked with Connor? How's he doing spirits wise? I mean, we know he'd be on the ice yesterday if he could be, but how's he handling everything mentally thus far?
Yeah, I think he's doing fine. It's still early, and I'm sure as things go along and he feels more capable of doing things on the ice, he'll be excited to get back. But all going well right now.
What went into the decision to re-sign Nick?
Sorry, what was it?
The decision to re-sign Nick and his value, I guess.
Oh yeah, it was a pretty easy decision on my side. I think he's been invaluable for our team, the young players, the older players, and just a great leader, great person. And I honestly, his play has been really good as well. And so keep him around for 2 years, I think, is really important. Make sure he feels more invested, that we believe in what he's bringing to the table, and I think it worked out for both sides.
Luke was saying there'll probably be a conversation about the captaincy moving forward after the season.
Yeah, I think it's just something that's going to be an ongoing discussion. I think in training camp or in the summer, we decided that we would not have a captain this year. I think that'll be something we revisit until we decide to, give someone the captaincy, but it's off-season discussions.
How do you like the even if the results haven't been there in some of these last couple of games, just the effort that's been out there, especially with all the injuries right now?
Oh, it's been fantastic. The last handful of games have been really, really impressive. The effort, the ability, not only just the effort, but the ability to keep chances low on the other side and play a team game, and it's been great. I obviously want to win a few more, and you want that positive result for your players as well, just for that positive reinforcement of what they're doing and that it is going well. But the efforts have been really, really positive.
I feel like last year we were talking the trade deadline, as soon as the season started, he's still two months out, but how different do you anticipate this deadline being for you than last year?
Yeah, probably. We were fairly active last year. I don't necessarily know if we'll be as active and as busy this year, but again, just given where we're at, we have to listen to everything and we have to consider everything. But I think just based on where we're at and I would probably be a little less busy this time around.
You have a lot of assets and draft picks already, and you have guys signing and more coming. How much do you need to start thinking about even spacing them out, and how many more second, third round picks do you like? I mean, does that become something of an issue? Too many of those?
Yeah, I don't want to say you can have too many of them, but it's something we do have to consider, and it's. You do have to space them. You don't want to have, be making a ton of picks at the same, because then you get players coming up all at the same time, and it's just a bit of a logjam. So you would like a little bit of space there, but I think we do have that space right now. Maybe be strategic if there were more to come in. What years maybe we'll look at, but once you get to the draft, if you do want to move picks down the road, that's always available, because teams go to the draft with the intention of drafting players. Not everyone has the inventory that you have, or that we have. So you find a lot of teams looking for extra picks. And so I think if we were in the situation where we wanted to move some picks around, I think that would be available to us. So amount in 1 year doesn't necessarily bother me too much.
How much have you been out on the road scouting?
Yeah, quite a bit. I feel like I've seen, outside of the Russian players, which are just, we can't see right now, I've probably seen most of the top 15 to 20 draft prospects, starting in the summer and working my way through. I was over at World Juniors, watching our players and draft eligible players. And so it's something I really enjoy. I think it's important as well for our staff that I'm out there with them and making sure that they see that I'm right there alongside, trying to get the answers as much as them. And so, lots of time on the road, and probably more time on the road up ahead.
Dickinson and Mrazek have been really good for you. How do you weigh the wanting to keep them around to be part of this moving forward versus asset management and what you might be able to get for them at the deadline?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a constant balance and something you're trying to strike. But on one side, yes, you can. They're playing very well and potentially could be valuable, and then the other side, you're trying to balance a little bit of continuity and trying to, if we were to move them, then you know what, those are probably players we're going to be looking at in the summer. And so do you just want to just, cut out the middle term and just have them back? And, that's kind of what we're going through right now. And you're right, both have been excellent. They're great pros as well. We're always looking for people with that really good leadership quality and professionalism. They both have that. And so they're making that decision difficult on us.
What about your prospects too? So last night was a great night for a lot of your prospects.
Yeah.
You look at Kevin Korchinski, your first round pick. He's had a really good season
Mm-hmm.
when you're starting out. What has really stood out to you most with all of these guys playing all over North America and the world? Who's really stood out for you?
Man, like honestly, I feel like not. Everyone loves their own prospects, and that's everyone's gonna hype up and pump up their own prospects. But I feel like so many guys have had great seasons, and I, just a couple that I've seen lately. I'll kind of more speak to them because I've seen them more recently. But I thought Frank Nazar was great at World Juniors. I've seen him a couple times at Michigan as well. He's had a great season. Sam Renzel and Oliver Moore at Minnesota, who again I saw over in Europe at World Juniors, they're dynamite, and I think both grew their role with USA as the tournament went along, and so that was really positive. Gavin Hayes was great. He's having a great year, and he was in Flint, got traded to Sioux, and scored right away, 2 goals I think in his one of his first games with Sault Ste. Marie, and so it's awesome. And see a guy like Nick Lardis putting up a boatload of goals for Brantford in the OHL, and so across the board it's been very positive. But I think the one thing we've seen is as good as everything looks, you want to keep that progress going. And it's yes, they're having good years, but it's not the NHL, and it only matters if they get to the NHL and deliver here. And so we're going to keep working with them, but early returns are very positive.
Ethan Del Mastro too, down with Rockford.
Yeah.
He's looking really good this year in NHL also.
Yeah.
What have you thought about his game?
Yeah, great. Just I think he, with especially with younger defensemen and younger defensemen with some size, that sometimes that transition to pro hockey where you're playing against teenagers, you can use that big body and kind of move guys around and defend that way. It doesn't always work once you move up to pro, and it takes some time to acclimate that way. But he's jumped in, and we've given him a heavy workload, but he's handled it very well, and so he's playing over 20 minutes a night. Playing a lot of different situations, and so he's been great, and obviously rewarded with an all-star nomination, which is awesome.
Do you remain hopeful about Slaggert signing and him and Nazar? Could they as possibilities to join the NHL during the year for the college season?
Yeah, on Landon, I think we've got a good relationship with him, and have had one throughout his career at Notre Dame, and so feel optimistic that he'll sign with us. And as far as guys joining the team, we'll figure that out, see where they're at towards the end of the year and figure that out. But excited about both those players.
On Dickinson specifically, he's a really popular guy in the room, and you probably heard Foligno kind of pitching for him to get brought back. Is that something that you're thinking about in that weighing process of getting up to?
Yeah, it's something you definitely consider. Again, I would be surprised if Nick came out and said that he was a bad guy or something, or didn't have a good season. But no, it makes sense, and we've seen how Jason's operated since he's gotten here. He's played great. He's great with the guys, great around the room. He's just a really good person and a great pro, and so it's understandable that he's well liked in the room, and it's something that you do weigh. Of course you do, especially when. You know the person, and he just keeps growing his role and growing his influence, and the coaches trust him. He can play responsibly defensively, and he's starting to put some goals in too, which is great to see and good for his confidence. And so, we really like Jason, and we'll kind of see where that goes.
What are your thoughts on Reichel's season so far?
Yeah, I think it's been a little bit ups and downs, but I think we've seen some flashes of the confidence coming back, and some, with young players, when we talk about our prospects, is that, it takes time, and there's ups and downs, and there's hurdles to overcome, and I think he's just going through one of those kind of grinds that in those those times that you just got to work your way through. And so I think we've seen some signs of him coming out of that, playing a little faster, playing a little more assertive with the puck, and hopefully he can just keep stepping up and continue to the point where he's got the confidence and he can play the way we saw him play at the end of the year.
We're hearing that Bedard's doing what you would expect to hear from Bedard as far as his rehab. Is that going to be a challenge for you guys to kind of make sure he's not too aggressive when it comes to comeback?
I'm sure he'll be pushing the envelope, but I think he also understands that it's not something that to mess with, and he doesn't want to force it too soon and then miss more time, and that'll be not good for anyone, and so he won't want to do that. And so we'll make sure that he's put in a good spot and understands the process of healing and being able to take contact and those sort of things. I'm sure he'll feel great physically, but taking contact's a whole different animal, and especially when it's bones that are recovering, you need to give that adequate time. So I think he'll understand that.
Have you had any dialogue about the All-Star game as far as maybe he may just go as a figurehead?
No, not really. I think it's so early in his recovery that we'll just kind of kick that can down the road.
But what have you thought of Vlasic's season? It feels like he was kind of labeled a shutdown guy, but it feels like he's taken a step offensively too.
Yeah, Alex has been dynamite, and we put him in a lot of different situations last year in Rockford, including power play to develop that some of those puck touches at the pro level and make sure he was comfortable with the puck, and he's stepped up and he's had a hell of a year. Really happy with his progression, and again, we had a couple guys last year that we asked them to go put some work in Rockford, and he was one of those guys, and I think that commitment to his craft and growing his game, not necessarily at the NHL level, but at the AHL level, where he can play a ton of minutes in every situation, and you're seeing that pay dividends up here, and he's been rock solid.
He's a pending RFA. Mm-hmm. Do you start to weigh okay, maybe if we're sold on guys, can we look beyond 2-3 years from now and lock guys up longer term for a young guy like him?
Yeah, you definitely weigh it for sure, and it's something you want to be sure though, right? You've only the salary cap is pretty unforgiving, and so if you're going to go long term, you want to make sure that you're giving the contract that's going to work out and not hamstring you in anywhere or hold you back. But he's had a great season and given us a lot of confidence in what he's going to be moving forward.
What were the 24 hours like for you after the New Jersey game when you were literally out of forwards and had to go find in Sanford out there?
Yeah, I had just got back from World Juniors too. When I was over at World Juniors, I think there were 3 games we lost 3 players in the middle of the night over there, and that was just didn't feel like it was real. And then the New Jersey game, and we lost 2 guys, and it was a little bit of a scramble because our injury situation is no secret to everyone else in the league too, and so it's not like you can just go out and grab a player that everyone coveted for no assets, right, at the drop of a hat, and then we had a game I think 2 days later, and so we just had to act on what was available to us, and they've been solid, and so it was a quick turnaround, but came in and Rem had to wait a little bit longer than Zach, but to get in that first game, but both they've been quite effective, and the team's been playing well, and so it's we'll welcome some bodies back here at some point, but yeah, it was a crazy little while to get some bodies in here. The other thing too is we had players in Rockford, but you can only drain Rockford so much as well, and so we didn't necessarily want to dip into that pool again, and it just cascade that issue downwards and put Rockford in a bad spot. So it was an opportunity to bring 2 quality players in a tight spot, so we did that.
We all silly like the mayor.